And Republican Congressman Tim Griffin from here in Arkansas joins us live now from Washington to talk about today's developments. Congressman, first of all, thanks for being with us. A busy day there.
Thank you for having me. On
Capitol Hill. I saw on your Twitter account you tweeted that you will be supporting this Senate bill. Can you tell us why?
Sure. Well, it's not perfect. Hardly any legislation ever is. But it does some really critical things. Number one, it gets the government opened. And I have said all along that a shutdown is a bad idea. Basically, the shutdown wasn't by any one person or group. It was the fact that an agreement wasn't reached. But when the president started negotiating, I'm glad that we're going to have an agreement. So the government will be open, and it will send a lot of certainty and give a lot of certainty to the markets and to the economy, and that to maintain our credit rating. So those are critical aspects. Now, normally when we have some sort of agreement on a debt ceiling, we have long-term systemic changes that help get our spending under control. We're not seeing that in this particular case, and that's unfortunate. But we will have some opportunities through the budget conference to work some of that stuff out. So it's far from perfect, but we need to get this passed. It will pass overwhelmingly. And look, I think we knew this is where we were going to end up. Some of us, I knew that the path we were on was going to lead to this point. We all knew, those of us who had looked at the votes in the House and the Senate, that there was no way to defund Obamacare when you control one part of the government. And so hopefully some of the folks that pushed for that have learned a lesson. But you know, this is not perfect, but it's the right thing to do, and I think there will be broad support from Republicans and Democrats, so we can get past this.
Let me ask you, Congressman, some of the details, and first you can verify them for us, that it funds the government through January 15th and the debt ceiling to just February 7th. And I know a lot of people watching tonight are going to look at that and go, we're going to be right back in this same situation in just a short couple of months. What can you do to address that concern?
Well, we better not be. Here's what I would say to that. First of all, there's always plenty of blame to go around. I personally would like to see the president help address our long-term debt and spending problem. If he would do that, I think a lot of the folks that wanted to have this fight would understand that we're moving toward a solution. So, I'm hoping and praying that the president will step forward and lead on these issues. On our side, on the House side, I think some folks who thought that that this strategy would somehow get us somewhere good, I think a lot of them have seen that it didn't work. And we ended up with getting less by pursuing this strategy than if we would have gone with the Speaker's original strategy. And that's just a fact. Yeah. So last night, we could not get the House, the votes we needed in the House for the Speaker's plan. And when we couldn't, what happened? We had to go with the Senate plan, and which usually the Senate plans are you know, they're not as good, in our opinion, as what we were trying to put together.
And real quickly,
so, but that was because we couldn't get our votes.
We're about out of time, Congressman. I hate to interrupt you there, but real quickly, just to yes or no, are we going to get the votes tonight? Will the votes both in the Senate and House take place tonight?
Yes, easily. People, the furloughed workers will be back to work ASAP. I've asked mine to come in tomorrow. All right. So that's the good news.
Congressman
and I'll
Tim
be
Griffin,
supporting it.
Thank you very much for joining us today on